mode is just a track, and you have no brakes, and your vehicle gets faster and faster and faster. And so it plays into what makes Wipeout interesting, which is ultimately you'll only be good in Wipeout if you're turning before you can see the curve. So it's more about memorization than reflexes. But to get good at the solo mode, it goes beyond even that. I love this because you have to fall into a trance. Like very rapidly for the love of God, we're not going to watch all 20 minutes of this. But yeah, after you've bumped up a few speed classes and you're just hurtling around the track. Because if you touch the walls too much, you are going to explode. You just have to feel it. You have to rely on your fingers tugging you the right way before your brain knows which way to turn. So let's skip ahead to when he's going properly mental.
Clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you have to turn before the corner shows up. You have to end the turn at exactly the right moment. I mean, this is like a degree of Zen meditation that goes into to being good at this game, which I appreciate. Because gamers and gamer culture often appears really cool in fiction where the gamers almost seem otherworldly, I suppose. Because of course games are a whole other world, and I think it's possible that the negative image of gamers sort of like being zoned out and playing in some absurd playground isn't to be rejected as much as we perhaps do it. I think it can actually be kind of cool that you're actually knocking into this other reality, and I'm just hypnotized by this stuff now. And then let's take this way to the end. I mean, see, this is like robotic level play. Ooh! He's gonna hang on though, he has to. The video goes on for longer. And then just have this really soft electronic music in the background. Almost like this could be a montage sequence in a movie. Yeah, I forget the name of the UK studio behind this, but there's really interesting making of some Wipeout HD because, I think mentally it's easy to categorize Wipeout as just this like very kind of almost silly game. But Wipeout is all about the fine details. It's all about the fact that it supports this, I suppose, is what tells you that the game functions. The fact that you can become this good at it is testament for that. Whether again this is high level playing. But yeah, let's mix this up and go to something else entirely different. Because let's show you something. Let's show you something completely out there. Why not? What else is this? Is this game part 1? What an excellent name for a YouTube video. Right. The Outfoxies is a game that I swear there's an alternate universe out there where about 100 games took their inspiration from the Outfoxies. We don't live in that universe, sadly. And so it just leaves me to show this video to whoever will watch and show why it's so clever. This is a fighting game. Oh my gosh. You're finding on the train going across the Rocky Mountains. That's really specific instructions. Okay. So this is a fighting game, I think it might have been an arcade coming first. And it asks the very simple question of what if we had a fighting game where the environment was entirely dynamic, where the characters were asymmetrical, where you can collect weapons, and everything is context sensitive rather than being driven by the player's actions. So we're not just on a train here with various random weapons scattered around. Go away, it takes blocks. Okay. I mean, I suppose Smash Brothers would be the nearest comparison. Smash Brothers does do certainly some of this. But as we'll see in a moment, the level actually begins changing as the characters perform actions. The train, I think, disconnects. There's an extra level in an aquarium where an enormous whale is sprung from the ceiling, and if players do any damage at all to the rope, I think, the whale falls down, lands in a tank of sharks, water begins flooding out, and the entire level is filled, the ground floor of the level becomes filled with sharks and water. Yes, that character at the bottom is on Piano Top Hat, if you were wondering. I cannot tell you how glad I am that the indie team is bringing back the single screen deathmatch club as well, and the local multiplayer. Oh yeah, that's the guy in a wheelchair with the crane arm. That's good. Being picked up and carried around by cranes. As well, and in the modding scene of the original Half-Life, there were an awful lot of people who were doing this thing of trying to make games cinematic, watching movies, watching action films, and going, what on earth can we do? How can we make games this awesome? I think that has been forgotten recently. Arrowhead Studios recently put out the Showdown effect, experimenting with that. But I mean, there are reasons why games shouldn't try and copy movies, but personally I think we can do a lot worse than trying to make action movies. There's an awful lot to learn from that stuff. Good. And just rampant asymmetry as well, like, John Smith one. Good one, John Smith. Let's see if there's another. Ah, yeah, okay, right. So you're not entirely yet convinced that Young Foxes is great. What about Fool? Here's one nice to slow down again. Unfortunately, it goes away and stays away. I don't know what causes it. Okay, well, thank you for uploading this video to YouTube. Okay, well, we'll work through the stuttering, but yeah, this is the level which is a load, and this is obviously rocking constantly all the time. Oh yeah, and that's a character who's just a pair of twins. Which guns? I've been seeing this a lot in board games as well. I mean, it's extremely difficult and can be very difficult to balance games, but there is an alternative. Which you see in the Outfoxes and various other games whereby if you fill the environment with entirely randomized weapons and then just allow the players to go and fight for them, the game will auto-balance itself. It's almost like auction mechanics in board games. You don't need to balance various things in board games if you just allow players to pay what they want. So yeah, there's a guy in the bottom floor of the boat there, but if you go for it, you're exposing yourself to everybody else, because they probably will know you're going to go for it. There's the fish. And yeah, as the level goes on, the boat begins rocking more and more rapidly. There's actually a level set in a helicopter. Oh, good work, John Smith. You killed a couple of children. That's excellent. I can keep going. Okay, let's keep going then. Let's, about 5 minutes, okay, 5 minutes. What would I show if I had 5 minutes? Almost want to go back to the Scottish sketch scene because, so, yeah, let's end with something that's almost certainly funnier than me. Some of you here might be aware of Ralph Lawrence, who reviews he did a show called Consolvania, and he's very much into his video games. And so kind of, and as tribute to him, I'm going to show the best thing he's done. This is Burniston, this is his Scottish sketch show, and I'll just close with this. I've got a nice advert to warm us up. But yeah, I'm a large fan of Ralph's work, and I find Consolvania interesting because a lot of my colleagues